I had a lot of people pissed off when I said my most complimented designer fragrance you couldn't get. 𝗙𝐭 𝗵𝗂𝗏 Velvet Zafferano UAE edition has been, at this point, being October, my most complimented fragrance of 2025. I picked this fragrance up in Dubai at the duty free and was blown away instantly by this designer private blend on the amount of compliments that I would get on this fragrance. Now, I'm not one who's seeking compliments, but I appreciate them like anybody else. Overall, the kid's just looking to smell dope. A fragrance that complements my swag, my energy, my fits, and if I get a little compliment, I'm happy. But then you guys who really rock with me and we have the same kind of noses are like, yeah, Coobs, thanks for promoting something that we can't get. So I knew they have a US version, so I picked that one up as well so I can do a side-by-side comparison to see, for those who feel like getting the fragrance in the US, see if this joint is comparable to the UAE one. Not gonna front, I'm super curious. Let's roll my music to see if the US version can battle the UAE. Blessed morning, my beautiful peoples. You know who it is. It's your boy, 𝗙𝐸 to the B to the A. I actually had to pick this joint up at Macy's, and I got a bunch of samples in, including one fragrance I haven't tried, but we'll tap into that later. But 𝗙𝐭 𝗵𝗂𝗏 Velvet Zafferano US edition. I had a lot of people on the lives, on my Instagram lives, on my TikTok lives, even in the DMs. Yo, Coobs, they have one that I can get. Is it the same? Because the bottles don't look the same. And I was straight up like, I have no idea. I'm not gonna get you to spend money on some shit that I don't know if it's side by side, so I spend the money for you. So first, let's break down the note differences between these fragrances before we get into the presentation and actually smelling them side by side. So let's start off with my baby, the UAE edition. So according to Fragrantica, the UAE edition opens up with saffron and the mid-note tobacco leaf, then patchouli, labdanum, vanilla, and amber. So how is that different from the US version? Because the US version also opens up with saffron, has two different type of tobaccos listed in the mid-note tobacco leaf and just plain tobacco, whatever the differences that may be, then amber, vanilla, patchouli, and labdanum. So it doesn't seem to be different at all. So we may hit a home run. Let's check the presentation on the Velvet Zafferano US edition, or at least the one that you can get in the US. And it doesn't have the fun little grid pattern in the front, but overall, same shit minus the little design aspects. Who cares about fucking designs? Not me. And the reality is, I probably paid a premium for this one, it being the UAE edition, and this one I got a little bit cheaper, so you might save money if these are exactly the same. I love the velvet box. Garbage. All right, without wasting any time, let's start rolling up the sleeves so Uncle Cuba can start testing these shits on skin. First, I'm gonna start off with spraying on the bracelet hand. My baby, my most complimented monster, happens to be a designer. I don't care if it's private blend or not, it's 𝗙𝐭, so it's designer. Let's see what the 𝗙𝐭 queen does on my skin. And one of the things I hate about this cap, a piece of shit. But let's get into the fragrance real quick. I just wanna re-snort it again. Alright, yo, if this is the same, I mean, that's it, game over. Wow, this cap actually holds, so already we're in progress, but honestly, I think it's gonna be the same shit. This little lip here, this little shitty lip is not gonna do anything, or the plastic here is gonna warp eventually. But it's all about the scent and the juice, right? So let's see, on the watch hand, we're gonna do 2 sprays, well, maybe 3, because this dribbled out a little bit, of the US 𝗙𝐭 versus the UAE 𝗙𝐭. So, let me let this dry down a little bit. Re-smell UAE. Okay, now the one that you can buy, the US. Not exactly the same, but close. The saffron in the UAE is a little bit more spicy and vibrant and airy. Yeah, this one's a little bit more tobacco forward, but not in a bad way at all. Still has a lot of the same essences for sure. This one's just a little bit more spicier, at least on this opening part. And this one's just a little bit more abrupt in tobacco, which kind of makes sense because in the mid-note, it indicated 2 different types of tobacco, or tobacco doubled up, leaf and tobacco, whatever the fuck that means. And I am picking that up on the US version, as we'll call it. But I still get the saffron. I still get the little bit of a dirty, earthy patchouli. I still get amber. And it's still very sexy, but it's a little bit more westernized. It's a little bit more manly and like, oh, I got big fucking man tits and pecs and whatever.
Sensational.
As opposed to the UAE still keeps that little element of spice and airiness. And it's such a small yet important difference between the 2 fragrances, at least to my nose. Like, this one is phenomenally delicious. Don't get it twisted. But it doesn't have that little spirit fingers, that little sparkle that makes this one special. And that little sparkle and that little saffronic, sweet, spicy airiness is really what kind of makes the whole fragrance. This one really feels like it's focused on a dry tobacco leaf with a little bit of an ambery / leather essence. Although it's not listed in the notes, I am picking up some nuances that have leather-esque energy. And again, I'm not mad at this, especially for the fall. I love how it smells. There's nothing off-putting. It's just a little bit darker and is missing that little sweet spiciness that I find in this scent. Let me let the fragrances fully dry down and see if any more saffronic energy, because it does contain saffron according to the notes. Let me see if that pops up towards the dry down and have both of these fragrances fully dry down to see if they're even close in comparison. I'll be right back. We're back, full dry down, UAE edition versus what I call the US edition. Let's see if there's any changes. I haven't smelled my forearms. There's been a lot of scent lingering in the air, but let's get deep down and personal. Okay, UAE still holding that sweetness. The tobacco is gorgeous. The amber is warm, sweet, sexy, sugary. Let's see what's up with the US. You know what? Hasn't changed. Has maintained its prominence, its fucking nails dragged into the floor like, no, the tobacco is gonna be the star, along with amber and a little bit of saffronic energy. So that's the main difference between both of these fragrances. They have a lot of the same nuances, they are flankers of each other, but essentially the UAE edition has a better saffronic, sweet spiciness that really pops off and does make a difference. Now this was, again, harder to get and a little bit more expensive than what you can get this fragrance. Now this solely by itself, a very handsome amber tobacco-y fragrance, almost gives me like 𝗙𝗪𝗏 𝗙𝗏𝗏 the 1 EDP bumped up a little bit. So the thing is that I feel that with this joint, it's in that space a little bit too close for comfort to 𝗙𝗪𝗏 𝗙𝗏𝗏 the 1 EDP in a way that one is so much cheaper and it performs and is still wildly sexy and nobody's checking for that scent profile right now, that I don't think that there's a need to pick this one up. You would just go that route instead. But if there is some way for you to get the UAE edition, this just has that little something. It's just not cheap. It's hard to get. So, you know, it'd be tough to justify it. But for me, it's paid off in compliment factor. So if that's what I'm looking for, I got it. I love y'all mother suckers from the heart. I hope this helps. I'm sorry that they're not exactly the same as I hoped it was, like you probably guys did, but it truly isn't. And the reality is that this one is closer in that space to 𝗙𝗪𝗏 𝗙𝗏𝗏 the 1 EDP, that I would probably just go the EDP route and save a shitload of money and still smell absolutely amazing. I love y'all mother suckers from the heart. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and let me know if you not only smelled the US version, but have you ever had the opportunity to smell the UAE, and did you like it? Leave it in the comments below. I'll see y'all snitches next time. You know who it is, biggest in the game. Smooches. Fly gun holder, money folder, roller, start tag when it's time to call back. For the rough, rugged, and raw way, this nigga Jay, it's a game, but he don't play. Hey, for all the chicks that got dead in the penthouse suite on top of my mom's crib. It's nonsense you never get in. It's nonsense that you would think that you would.